car made it all the way here to Jönköping, and I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning. It's a little bit dirty here. Dog is happy to be out on the road again. Hello and welcome to Custom Motor Show. This is the day before the show starts, so it's not so much people here. I have my Volvo here, but you have seen this one already. But I'm showing this one for the people coming here to the show. In this video, I'm gonna look for some engines. I can see, for example, a Formula 1 car, and there's some really interesting cars around here. We'll look out for some engines and technical stuff here. It's many shiny cars here as well, show cars, but I will not focus on any show cars. Because my new project is a mid-engine car, I get a little bit interested in mid-engine cars, and here we have a couple of mid-engine cars in this show actually. This one is a Mishi Evo, it's supposed to be, but no engine here in the front. You can see the hood is really low here, and it is a mid-engine. It's a 4G63, so it's still the Evo engine, but it is an billet block engine here. And this car is built by Viborg Engineering, and yeah, these are really smart guys building this car. They have built Evos for many years, but this is the most extreme one, I think, here. So it's a full tube chassis car with firewall here, carbon fiber, and we have the 4-cylinder engine here. I think this is has been running, but it's in some kind of project stage here as well. You can see some things like an older gold box Motec ECU. This looks to be like an shifter, so they have the paddles on the steering wheel, but this is the actuator for the shifter. So it's a long carbon fiber rod going to this gearbox back here. DMA transaxle, nice piece with both the billet and cast housing here. And they also do all of these suspension themselves. They're actually really good at suspension, these guys. I think they're working with some Swedish OEM like Volvo, and have access to very expensive software, yeah, to calculate the geometry and everything for the suspension. Also here it's a Penske damper with a spring and quite strange installation here. It looks like it is a pivot point down here going up to it, so it's yeah, installed forward to aft. So it's kind of a pull rod, I think, suspension looks like. And a lot of carbon fiber here as well. Hot side of the engine, we have a Garrett turbo and Auto Verde dry sump oil pump. And it is an air-cooled intercooler in front of the engine here, so interesting how they get air into that one. Air filter box on the side here, and yeah, air is going in here from the side to this intercooler. And big ducts here for the air. The doors is, yeah, one of the shortest doors I ever have seen, I think. Carbon fiber handle there, and a lot of carbon fiber. They have a steering wheel dash there, C125 on the steering wheel. Don't think I have seen that one before. That big kind of dash. It's not made for steering wheels, I guess. One cool thing that I see here is that it goes in some hoses here from the gearbox. I think it's ventilation going into this tube here. So I guess the whole tube here is yeah, ventilation or splash if it's pushing out oil of the gearbox. It's into this tube. I'm not sure if that's the case, but that's what I'm guessing, and it could be a good idea. The oil tank here, the dry sump, is a very long one. Not that big diameter, but yeah, very long. Nice rear view mirrors inside here. So yeah, it's just on camera, and I guess they have I think this is the screens for the rear view. And it still looks like an Evo here in the front, but very much chopped down. What the radiator in the front looks like with an hood went out here in the original position. Some more inspiration for my car, that is time period of what my car is from the beginning. This one was built to compete in Group V here in Sweden, and it won the Swedish championship 75 and 76, the same year as my car is built. And it has some cool widening fenders here. Would be cool to make something like these, like a Group S type fenders to fit the rear tires. We'll see. And also a big intake here. I also need to have some kind of intakes here to cool the gearbox oil, for example. In the front need to be a little bit higher, but yeah, looking really good. This is in the condition of an old race car, so really cool looking in this color scheme. And this mirror is actually a drink, non-carbureted drink here in Sweden, mostly for kids. Yeah, we can see it here, for example. Classic car, very cool looking. Also really big long wing here, quite aft of the rear of the car. Nice. Oh, it's right-hand drive as well. Here we have an VW Beetle, and this one usually have an 4-cylinder aft of the rear tires, but this one is actually also a mid-engine. It's an Audi V8 in this, hard to see here, but they have lifted the whole body, and I guess it's totally custom chassis on this one as well. You can see the roll cage in there, and it is a turbo here, so the turbo's aft, and 6-speed gearbox it says. I guess it's kind of an Audi gearbox as well. Water intercooler, and this one have the drag slicks, so it is a drag car. Yeah, we have the engine here, and charge pipe from the turbo, some suspension here. So yeah, cool build. You got like 4 spare motors if these ones blow up, but these ones should hold for good power. In the front here we have the radiator, and it's sucking air from underneath. Usually it's no radiators in these cars. They're air cooled, but this one of course water cooled. And kind of fuel tank here as well. And on the inside we have a roll cage, looking like a stock dashboard there. Speedo will hopefully go maximum speed there very quick, and also some cup holders. Hopefully you can see this one in Street Week Sweden this year. They can bring it there. Would be interesting to see this Beetle with 800 horsepower. Here we have Victor Mortensson, Honda Civic. If you remember this one, I had it in one garage visit some time ago, maybe a year ago, and this one was a yellow one. And now this is a wide body and the 4-wheel drive with a K20 engine in this one. He's just in the stage of finishing everything, so it's not started up yet, but it will be started very soon, I think. So a lot of pieces here for the fuel system and electrical systems are from BJP Race, so we provided that one. some radium things here, and we got a radium catch can here in the engine bay. So with this one, it will be one pump, and I think about 500 horsepower, 450 maybe, will be the output of this one. And the gearbox of this one is from CRV. Nice exhaust manifold there. And yeah, it's wide body made by Victor, everything made in steel. Some BJP race here as well. And some Kevlar. Racing seats and an old classic Luisi steering wheel. Cool. Very cool looking, and Victor always have a little bit of his own style in his products. This is a cool one, I think you can call it mid-engine, when the engine starts after the front axle here, and this is actually a tractor with a V12 engine. Grolle. So, yeah. Now when I live on the countryside, I maybe need to buy a tractor. I'm a little bit interested in that one, and the one with the big V12 would be really cool. I think this one is air-cooled as well. You can see the cylinders here, so it's no radiator. Next to my Volvo is another Swedish car. It's a Saab. This one also have a kind of a mid-engine. It got one engine here in the back seat, and it is the Saab engine. I think it's the whole drivetrain here with the gearbox and everything in the back. But it also have one of the engines here in the front as well. So it's a twin-engine Saab, this one. Saab 9000. So yeah, a classic that's produced in a lot of cars here in Sweden. So yeah, a really cool one. You can see some solutions how they make it drivable, and everything I think is separate except of the radiator. Radiator here is cooling twin engines. Maybe we can see some pipe here going back there. So in the cities it's going a little bit hot, but otherwise it's working good. And it's about 300 horsepower in each of these engines. So it is a four-wheel drive Saab here. Some oil coolers and water-cooled intercooler. We have all of the fuel system in the back of the trunk there as well. Some of the fuel system, dual pumps, dual filters, one for each engine. Pretty good room here to work on the engine as well. The biggest problems when driving this car for the first times was the clutches. When you used one single master cylinder, it did not work really to release the clutch on both engines at the same time. So now here looks like it is dual clutch cylinders, and yeah, mounted here in the back, so that's a cool thing. And then you can adjust forward and aft clutch there, so they are engaging at the same time. Cool build here. Four-wheel drive drag Audi S2 here, looking mean with this big slicks out in the front and the same hosiers in the back here as well. This is a guy, Kenny Björk, almost the same last name as me, but a little bit different spelling there. So it's actually in VR6 in this one, and it produces I think like 1200 horsepower, something like that. And this is a fully race car. It's not a show car, but that is the cool thing to see here at Custom Motor Show Elmia, a mix of race cars and show cars. I've seen this several times, and the launches is a little bit hit or miss, I think, going left, going right, jumping all around, and yeah, that's the problem with four-wheel drive. So that is one thing I hope to figure out somehow with my new build. The Swedish RRoc cars are really cool. They're four-wheel drive, they're about 600 or sometimes 800 horsepower, and they're running slicks on both tarmac and gravel. Usually a lot of nice pieces. We have a Motec dash here, for example. And the engine in this one, it's a 2-liter engine. I think it's kind of based on a Ford engine, but it's completely custom. Custom billet cylinder head, custom billet block, and it's on 2 liters, 16 valve. it has one of these restrictors here, and with this one, 45mm, it gives 600 horsepower. Without it, about 800 horsepower. One cool thing I think about rallycross cars that I have seen many years, that they're using these kind of air filters. This one's is a paper filter that is from like a Mercedes truck or something, bus, and these ones costs 120 Swedish crowns, approximately like $10. So, and it flows really good. So they're not using any kind of sport filter, they're using these ones, and they throw them away when they get some dirt in them. We have a Garrett turbo here, and on the exhaust manifold we have one pipe going from the turbo. So this is a response system here. It pushes in some fresh air into each exhaust here, and yeah, keeping the turbo spinning while the throttle is closed. And that is a little bit more nice to the engine compared to when using only an electronic throttle body there. A lot of nice stuff here, nice intake manifold, and yeah, dry sump. So yeah, really cool, these cars. Lightweight, four-wheel drive, Swedish transmission, and gearbox differentials as well. They told me they're gonna redo it with a PDM later on, but right now it has one classic thing for motorsport cars as well, using these aircraft type circuit breakers that you can easily reset. If they pop, you can just push them in again. So I'm used to them a lot from my aircrafts as well. This is how it looks like without the body panel, so it's a really cool looking car. This engine block actually blew up in the pits, so nitromethane is really dangerous. They were working around the engine when it blew up, what I heard, and two guys got some injuries as well, but I think they are good now. But you see what kind of force this is. They were just kind of cranking the engine, I think, and it was some nitromethane inside, so it blew out the whole engine. Copper gasket, of course, but yeah, must be an expensive one and a high boom. Billet Hemi engine in these ones. I think I'm gonna try to stick away from Nitro in my cars, even though I have seen some NA cars in US like Hondas, they're using Nitro now. More mid-engine cars. Here we have an Ford RS200. It's a replica of it actually. Very nice build here, and it's road legal. It is carbon fiber and then home built chassis. It has an VR6 engine, so a 6-cylinder turbo, and the intercooler is in the original location here of the RS200, very specific here in the roof section. Not many cars have an intercooler there. One thing that's familiar to me is this one. It's the gearbox from a Lamborghini Gallardo, manual one, so very familiar with that one, and yeah, it can hold the power very good, so it's a good thing. Looking like a really nice welds and fabrication on this one. We have the turbo on the right hand side here, and going through the intercooler to an electronic throttle body on this side. Carbon fiber plenum. A little bit interesting how they do with the gluing or something to get it holding up into the aluminum there to not pop off. Would be interesting to know. A big knife edge sway bar here, blue one. Looks like some Volvo brakes and street tires. The turbo system we have here, and then dry sump tank. Good looking and really fresh. Nice white motorsport. 1335 kilos of weight. Good looking interior here with some round gauges, typical to what it was in these kind of rally cars. I think Volvo 240s have always been popular here at the Custom Motor Show, and also this year there's some different with the different conditions. This one a bit more shiny than my car, but it is a T6 with a big turbo. So a bit better power, but also kind of a sleeper. Kind of the same rims as I have on my car. Cool car here, Group C Porsche, but I think it's sad that you're not allowed to go anything near this car. It would be nice to see a little bit more into detail. Brembo brakes there, looking similar to what I installed just on my Volvo Gini there. Cool. But really cool car guy. Shante is owner of this one. Another mid-engine car, but this is a race car. It's an Porsche 962 Evolution. I think this is like an replica of a 962. Really good looking and really nice components in this one. Beautiful, and see how wide it is. You have 2 seats there, but still very wide side. And it also has some like Alcantara on the interior, so a little bit cozy there. Looking really cool. Turbocharged, of course, and it's a Porsche engine, and modern Porsche engine with some new performance fuel rails, Alins, and it's standing here actually in the Ferrita booth. Ferrita is making exhaust systems for many cars, and here in Sweden, all of these is carbon fiber. Big chunk this one, so really cool build. Looks like a new build. I don't know if they have been driving it. Big, huge diffuser here as well. Have some nice carbon fiber junction box here with some sensors from the Hollinger gearbox here. Beautiful carbon fiber work and aluminum machining and aluminum welding and everything beautiful. I don't know much about Porsches, but I think this is some kind of an more modern engine, but it still looks like an air-cooled. It has an intake here and a fan, so yeah, of course it's an air-cooled one. This one is actually an air compressor for the shifting of the gearbox, so it is a paddle shifter. Also here in Sweden and especially in Norway, there are very strict laws on the sound of race cars on the tracks. So this is a big muffler here that they made, so it will keep the sound from the car down. A car that won the prize for the Swedish nicest cars, best looking car in Sweden, is this Corvair, and it's actually a mid-engine car. Let's check that one out, and it's actually an Audi engine. It is an American car. It is a 62 Corvair with a lot of modern touches. I really like this one. And yeah, this is a mid-engine car. So here in the front we have similar to what I'm trying to build. We have Alins dampers here and a new performance fuel tank. I think my car will absolutely not be shiny like this, but concept a little bit like it. Chrome, it's beautiful carbon fiber. Intercooler here in the front, or radiator maybe. The red interior looking beautiful in this black car. Usually I'm not a fan of red interiors, but yeah, looking beautiful. You got a digital gauge cluster and very clean here. Also, when you do not have a drive shaft going through the chassis there, you have a lot of room for the legs. No gearbox, everything is back here. And the engine is an Audi V8. More than one sitting back here. Usually these 6-cylinder engines in these ones, horizontal post engine sitting in the back here, but now it is an V8 mid-engine with an Audi gearbox. The V8 is also an Audi with a supercharger. And they say that it's built to be driven on the roads, and it's not just a show car, so it will be really fun to see this one driving on the streets. I think they are from Dalarna in Sweden. Like here we can see the exhaust. They also have the suspension. Okay, so I got like a push rod suspension with springs and dampers on the side. And the exhaust, it has some valves there, so it is really quiet, they say, when they're closed, and sounds really loud and nice when it's open. Looks like some kind of radiator hose going here out of the interior. I hope it's not getting too hot there, so you will burn yourself on that. I'm thinking a little bit about the radiator hose on my car as well, going through the tunnel that will go front there, so you will keep them a little bit away from the driver and passenger. It'd be cool to have a rear firewall similar to this one, see-through panel, but it's not allowed for the drag racing I will do. I need to have a thicker kind of aluminum or 1.5 millimeter of steel.